Today on The Young and the Restless, Billy and Jack argue. Victor invites Victoria to leave the company, and Audra gives Kyle a reality check. At Newman, Victor assures Lily that all will be revealed about the new investor in due time. Lily's not comfortable with that, but Victor says she'll have to trust him. Lily asks if Victor approached the person, or if he approached them. He says they approached him. Lily asks if she knows the person, but Victor can't tell her that. Victoria appears and Victor says Lily was on her way out. Lily exits and Victor tells Victoria that the meeting doesn't concern Newman Enterprises. He owns some interest in Chancellor Winters, and he just sold it. Victoria turns to look at Victor's portrait and flashes to a time when Victor admired her own portrait on the wall. She asks her father about replacing her portrait. He snaps, "Your office has walls, doesn't it?" Victoria complains that it leads her to believe there was a personal element in him replacing her as the head of the company. She can't figure out what she did to deserve it. Victor assures Victoria that he will still lean on her moving forward. It's not about her, it's about the company, which is fractured and disjointed. She asks, "Did I do that?" He says she certainly contributed to it. Victoria fumes that she was set up to fail. She blames herself for not seeing this coming from the start. Victor complains she doesn't see a lot of things. Victor hollers about her and her brothers being unable to present a united front. Now he has to step in and run the company again, otherwise they'd all be at each other's throats, and Nick would leave again. Victoria yells that he already has, and that's not her fault. It's not even Adam's. It's all on you. At Society, Jack, watching Billy talk to Devon, asks Diane to get them a table. He's going to confront Billy. Diane warns him to go easy and Jack fumes that he doesn't know what his brother is thinking these days. He's adamant that they can't figure out what Tucker's up to by showing all their cards. Jack walks over and interrupts Devon and Billy. Devon says they were done, and Billy advises him to remember the heads up he's given him on Tucker. Devon leaves. Jack fumes at his brother. "What the hell are you doing? Why are you going behind my back on this?" Billy argues that he never said he wouldn't contact Devon. Jack doesn't remember because he doesn't listen to him. Jack learns that Billy told Devon that Ashley was scared by Tucker and he seemed concerned. Jack didn't get that feeling and thinks Devon was trying to get away from Billy. Billy won't apologize for reminding Devon of who his father is and what he's capable of. Kyle meets Audra at the GCAC with, "Hello, stranger." He tells her he's missed her and suggests that she's avoiding him outside of work. Just then, Nikki walks in and flashes to Kyle telling her that he and Audra are no longer involved. At the table, Audra tells Kyle to be patient and they'll figure things out. They're smiling at each other when Nikki walks up and notes how close they seem. "Were you discussing business? Or something a little more intimate?" Audra claims they were discussing business, of course, and Nikki wants to know exactly what it was. Audra says she and Kyle were going over a pitch. Nikki asks Kyle to excuse them for a moment. At Lily's place, she updates Devon that Victor wouldn't tell her who the mystery investor is. She doesn't like this game and worries that they won't like the person. She learned that the investor approached Victor and is concerned that it might be Tucker. Devon asks what led her to this hunch. Lily says that when Tucker's angry he burns bridges. It could be a way to get his foot in the door. Devon doesn't really believe that he'd go behind his back a second time. "I don't see it." Lily isn't as inclined to give him the benefit of the doubt. Devon sighs, neither is Billy. He relays that they just had an odd conversation in which he expressed worry that Tucker is now more dangerous than ever. At Society, Jack fumes to Billy that Devon could be on his way to Tucker right now to let him know the Abbott brothers are after him. It will put Abby and others in the middle. "This is our fight, Billy, not theirs." Billy defends his actions and sees no downside. Jack sneers, "No, you never do." Alone on the Crimson Lights patio, Kyle thinks back to his intimate encounters with Audra, and then to them deciding to keep their relationship a secret. Next, he recalls her putting him off the last time he wanted to have sex with her. He sips his coffee and looks perplexed. At the GTAC, Nikki muses, "So, you and Kyle." Audra insists they were just having a business conversation. Nikki thinks the attraction is still there, and it's problematic for them to have any interaction at all. Audra denies breaking Nikki's rule. The Newman isn't sure that Kyle can show the same restraint. She thinks he has a bit of a wild streak, not unlike the young Jack. His breakup seems to have brought it on, which is probably why he was drawn to her in the first place. Audra asks what she's saying. Nikki thinks it best if they let Kyle go from Newman Media. Audra realizes she wants her to fire Kyle and informs Nikki, with all due respect, that she's overreacting. Kyle isn't going to be a problem. Nikki says he's also concerned about her. She knows she and Kyle have been carrying on in private. She can see it in his eyes when he looks at her. Nikki advises Audra that she was going to fire them both, but decided to give her one last chance. Audra assures her boss that she's made herself clear. Nikki will leave it with her to terminate Kyle. At Lily's place, Devin tells her that it felt like Billy was trying to recruit him in case something bad happens with Tucker. Jack interrupted and things got weird. There's no proof that Tucker is the mystery investor who bought Victor's stock. He doesn't think he'd risk ruining their relationship and his relationship with his grandson if he found out. Lily moans about Victor doing this to him. Devin feels she's jumping to conclusions on several fronts. Lily concedes it may not be Tucker, but warns Devin not to underestimate what he's capable of. At Newman, Victoria rants to her father that he's to blame for everything because he keeps shuffling the deck chairs and expects everyone to just fall in line. Victor fumes that a company like Newman is not run by consensus, but by one person. That person is me from now on. Victor hollers, then why even keep me around? Or Nicholas for that matter? Victor booms, I don't want to argue about this. That's how it is, period. Victoria disagrees. Victor informs her that her opinion is irrelevant. You can either accept this or leave. Nikki arrives as Victoria informs her father that if she left, everything would fall apart. Everything. Victor retorts, what the hell do you mean by that? Nikki interrupts and warns she could hear them all the way down the hall. Victor crabs that their daughter is insinuating that he's no longer capable of running his company. Victoria insists she was just questioning some of his decisions. Victor won't tolerate insubordination. Nikki suggests they all calm down before someone says something they'll regret. She reminds them that the changes won't take effect for a few weeks, and tells Victoria that she and her father are planning to take a trip in the meantime. There will be plenty of time to sort everything out. Victoria says, that works for me. It doesn't work for Victor, who wants the changes finalized immediately. Nikki frowns, that's not what we talked about. Victor doesn't give a damn and bellows, my decision. That's what will happen. In the park, Audra tells Kyle that Nikki knows about them. She doesn't trust him and feels that as long as they're working together the attraction won't go away. Kyle can't deny that he wants to kiss her every time he sees her. Audra pushes him back as he gets flirty. He assures her he'll be more careful around the office. Audra says it's too late. She told me to fire you, Kyle. Kyle gulps. What? Audra fought for him, but Nikki's mind was made up. It's over. On all counts, I'm sorry. With that, she walks away. At Society, Billy crabs that Jack doesn't trust him. Jack counters that he can't be criticized because he takes everything he says too personally. Diane interrupts, it's not the time or the place. Billy snarks that Jack's never going to change anyway and walks out. At Lily's place, Devin assures his sister he's not mad at her. He just doesn't think that Tucker is their guy. Even if he is, he'd have no say in what happens to their company. Lily just doesn't like surprises and neither does Jill. They have to get to the bottom of this and her money is still on Tucker. At Newman, Nikki chastises Victoria for pushing Victor's buttons. Victoria sniffs that she merely called him out for constantly unending the lives of people he supposedly cares for. He's not so loving when they cross him. She complains he invited her to leave the company. He keeps changing the rule and it's only going to get worse. How long can Nikki ignore what is happening to him? Kyle downs a drink at the GCAC bar with, here's to being unemployed again. Victor bellies up to the bar and notices his strong drink. Kyle complains that Nikki had Audra fire him because she didn't like the look in his eye. Victor tells him he's an abbot and doesn't belong at Newman. He belongs with his own family in his family business. At Society, Diane tries to calm Jack, who isn't sure that he can trust Billy anymore. Right now, he's leaning toward cutting the cord and letting him go. Billy strides into the jazz lounge and orders a double. He flashes through his recent arguments with Jack. He pulls out his phone and texts Tucker, I want to meet.